junk drawers. The home for things that might be useful someday, the things we can't quite bring ourselves to throw away, and the other itinerant items that have nowhere else to assemble. Like fingerprints, people's drawers may share common elements, but are arranged in a pattern that is unique to the person. Lots of people probably have a selection of pens in their junk drawers, but not everyone is going to have a dedicated extra spoon. Many a junk drawer will contain an assemblage of random, vaguely electronic-related items. Very few people will have whatever this is. And so does that, by glimpsing the contents of a person's junk drawer, we can get a glimpse at the person themselves, what they thought they might need in the future, and what they could not part with. Some items are a delight to find. This journal was first used to document a Prince concert at Paisley Park. No phones were allowed, along with no drugs, no alcohol, and no meat. So the only record my wife and I have, outside of our memories, are contained here. Later, this journal accompanied us to Florida for a trip with our children and my parents. Every night on that trip, I sat down to record in detail the day's events. A couple years later, we took a trip to London and Paris, and again every night I wrote down everything I could remember from the day. I'm bad about journaling in my day-to-day life, but this is a key component of all family trips now. And I hope my kids will enjoy reading them, to the extent my handwriting is legible, years from now. On the opposite end of the spectrum is this journal. I only wrote in it once, and I was hurt and angry at the time. I don't want to write more because what's there already feels toxic. I'd get rid of it, but it sometimes feels like an emotional albatross that I should have to keep carrying around with me as penance. Were anyone else to read it, I'd be mortified. On the flip side of the spectrum from that are these. A partial collection of Valentine's, anniversary, birthday, Christmas cards, and the like. Happy messages from those closest to me. As much joy as they bring me to occasionally flip through, I'd also be mortified if someone read these, though for entirely different reasons. This shark popper appeared in my Christmas stocking one year. Others in the family got their own animal poppers. They were fun, but I was always anxious to play with mine, for fear that the balls would get lost or turned into cat toys. The irony is not lost on me that by refusing to play with it, I was rendering the fact that I had hung on to all of the balls irrelevant. Playing Tooth Fairy is one of the aspects of parenthood I felt least prepared for. Not only is secreting a tooth from under the pillow of a sleeping child a challenge, I also rarely carry cash. So on those surprising days where a new gap appeared in one of our children's smiles, I had to scramble to round up the money to take the tooth's place. At least once the fairy paid out in random small change. And then what to do with the teeth? This thing that was once a part of my child's skull is now out on its own. Throwing it in the garbage felt bad to me, but for the life of me, I cannot imagine what I or anyone else will do with these. Maybe one day I'll bury them in the backyard to delight and confuse future paleontologists. My broken purple sunglasses. From the moment I got them to when they gave up the ghost 7 years later, they were a fixture of my personal idiom. I showed them more care and consideration than many pairs that had cost, well, infinitely more, as they were free to begin with. At the time, I lived in the suburbs with my wife and 2 children. I owned an SUV and used it to drive the kids to soccer practice. I worked at a bank. I think I loved these glasses so much because even if so much of my life looked like textbook middle-class blandness, they could be my quirky little spark of personality. Something that said I wasn't too staid, that I didn't take myself too seriously. I tried other similar ones after these broke, but it always felt forced. I still miss them. Like Narcissus, we can all feel the draw of our own reflection, not just our image in the mirror, but in those things that remind us of ourselves. These things were mine. Look at them and know me. But maybe it's not so simple. Each person's junk drawer may be unique, but without the internal monologue of the person who put those items there to be your Rosetta Stone, most of the stuff is just stuff. You've heard it said that one person's trash is another person's treasure. The inverse is also true. One person's treasure often is everyone else's trash. Our stuff leaves our possession in basically one of four ways. It passes on to loved ones because of its functional, material, or sentimental value. It's donated or sold to strangers. You throw it away, or someone else throws it away for you. For every beloved travel journal that hopefully gets held on to for years, there's another journal that may have served its purpose, not as emotional albatross, but as an emotional garbage bag that you can be rid of. Batteries may be handy in principle, but only if you have something that uses them. And for the life of me, I can't think of anything in this house that runs on C batteries. And no matter how strong a tie I feel to these busted old plastic sunglasses, what are they worth to anyone else? There's value to these things, and there's value in letting them go, and not leaving them for someone else to eventually have to deal with, and in maybe lightening your own load just a little.